No air conditioning, no lights, and no refrigeration. That's what some people in southern Idaho could be dealing with during the hottest months of the year. But it's all in hopes of keeping people safe. I talked to Idaho Power about their plan to hopefully prevent wildfires.
This isn't something that we do lightly.
Idaho Power is doing community outreach to make sure people are aware of a program called the Public Safety Power Shutoff Plan, or PSPS plan. Its purpose is in its name, to keep people safe.
Our number one goal is the safety of the public and our communities.
But it also could be leaving you in the dark.
The community response overall has been pretty positive. I mean, we've heard from people that have come from out of state that give us feedback that, they'd rather see us shut the power off than have a wildfire.
The plan includes shutting down power to certain areas when weather conditions create an increased wildfire risk.
So the criteria that we'll be looking for is dry vegetation, really low humidity levels, and high winds.
So in summer or early fall, when strong winds are expected, a PSPS event could be triggered. If winds knock down power lines while they're live, they can start a fire. This plan isn't entirely new. Idaho Power says the planning started in 2021, and the plan was actionable in time for the 2022 wildfire season.
Really in response to the increase in the frequency and intensity of wildfires that we're seeing throughout the West.
It seems like that's opened up a bit of liability as well. So is that part of the equation, that now that's something to consider?
There is liability for electric utilities. Anytime an object makes contact with our power lines, there's potential for arcs or sparks that could fall to the ground.
In 2022, Idaho Power agreed to pay $1.5 million in a settlement to the federal government. This was related to two fires that happened in 2014 and 2015 in Baker County, Oregon. Those fires burned about 12,000 acres of land, some of which was BLM land. The federal government argued the fires were caused when Idaho Power's transmission lines failed. Idaho Power says they strongly deny this. The company says they opted to agree to the settlement to avoid a longer, drawn-out legal process. They also say that these fires and the resulting lawsuit were not related to the creation of this plan. The PSPS plan has never been put into action before.
And we only plan on using it as a last resort.
Wildfire risk over the past few years has increased, but not equally across the state. Some areas have a higher risk, like homes built in the foothills north of Eagle, where grasses grow long and fires can move very quickly.
As more people move here, we're updating our risk models. Our risk maps are being updated to reflect changes in that wildland-urban interface area.
Okay. And so since it's built in to the model, and the plan was originally developed in 2019, so from then until now, has the risk gone up if the current factors are being taken in?
Yeah, we've seen some areas where our wildfire risk zones have expanded.
Power may be cut to people in or near these wildfire risk zones while the inclement weather is happening.
We recognize how impactful de-energizing the power lines can be for our customers in their daily lives, so we don't take the decision very lightly.
Since we use electricity for just about everything, it will help to be prepared for what everyday tasks might look like without it.
Like how to open their garage door, how do they prepare their food in their freezer to help it last longer, and even being prepared for things like medications.
You'll also want to make sure your contact information with Idaho Power is up to date, so you get email and text updates. That way you'll get the most up-to-date information about the potential outage. Again, this plan has not been put into action yet, and Idaho Power considers it a last resort. They have other methods for mitigation they use on a more regular basis. They're rebuilding power lines, inspecting and pruning vegetation near power lines, and they can change the settings as well. For example, there's a sensitivity setting that can be changed so the system will trip more easily and hopefully avoid a fire. But obviously, having power could have a huge impact on people, and so it's really worth preparing for that possibility ahead of time. So we'll have information on all of the resources available on our website.
I'm sure change is really hard for a lot of people. So how are people responding to this?
Seems to be that there is good response, and the majority of people, from what Idaho Power told me, is that people are saying they'd rather have their power shut off than have a wildfire. So.
Or have their houses burned down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, serious topics come up with serious solutions. Sophia, we appreciate that report. We will be right back after a quick break.